Dear viewers, welcome to my lecture on the Cleft. The Cleft is a short story by Prajwal Parajuly. It is from his short story collection, The Gurkha's Daughter, which was published in 2012. Parajuly was born on 24th October 1984 in Gangtok, Sikkim. Son of a Nepali-speaking Indian father and a Nepali mother, Parajuly's short stories deal with the life of the Nepali people living in northeastern India, Bhutan, Nepal, and the Nepali diaspora. Parajuly studied communications at Truman State University in the United States. Then he worked for some time as an advertising executive for the Village Voice in New York. In 2010, he went to Oxford University to study creative writing. He had already finished writing The Gurkha's Daughter by the time he completed his MA. Parajuly writes about the Gurkhas or the Indian Nepali community as an insider and a keen observer. The term Gurkha also refers to the brave, loyal and fearless Nepali soldiers of Indian nationality and those from Nepal who were recruited by the British Army in colonial times. Today, the Indian Army has a Gurkha regiment and it is renowned for its courage and bravery. Parajuly depicts the rigid and caste-oriented, class-based system of Nepali society that mirrors Indian society. He belongs to the Brahmin community and through his stories, he reveals the assumption of superiority by the upper caste community through their birth in a privileged caste. He writes of the indifference and the apathy of the privileged upper caste people towards their underprivileged fellow human beings. Parajuly has also succeeded in destroying the many stereotypes associated with Nepalis. The usual image of people from Nepal is that of working class people who are brave and loyal and make trustworthy neighborhood watchmen. Parajuly's stories are about people who dream of escaping from poverty, hunger, the Maoist menace, and a class and caste-driven society that believes in curbing and controlling the aspirations and dreams of a better and a happier life. The Cleft. The Cleft is the story of a 13-year-old girl, Kali, who works for an exploitative and prejudiced upper caste widow, Parvati, in Kathmandu in Nepal. Parvati is a young widow from Kathmandu. She had been looking for a young servant girl in the Doar region on the Indo-Bhutan border. She had found Kali outside her hut in a slum, sick after eating mud. Parvati kept on repeating this story to Kali and others with regular frequency. Parvati said that Kali's mother had wanted to get rid of her because she had a number of children to feed and Kali was the weakest of her children. Kali had a cleft palate that had deformed her face and her siblings disliked her, according to Parvati. Kali, being a girl with a facial deformity, had been the weakest link in the family, and so her mother had offered her for free to the young widow Parvati. Kali had accompanied Parvati to Kathmandu from Bertamud, and she had been there with her for 5 years. She had come to Kathmandu to Parvati's house when she was 8 years old. Now she was 13 years old. Kali's deformity was a cleft palate, a birth defect that happens when a baby's lip or mouth is not properly formed during pregnancy. It can be corrected through surgery. Kali dreamed of getting rid of her deformity and going to Bollywood to act in films. Parvati often ridiculed and verbally abused Kali for her appearance, and she used to call her ugly and dark. Parvati keeps telling Kali that her skin is dark and that her brain is as dark as her face, and that is why she is called Kali. Parvati gives her false promises, telling her that if she works for her for a few more years, then she would pay the money for the surgery. Kali is aware that these are empty promises, and she saves the little money that she can to escape from her life of drudgery and verbal abuse. Parvati always finds faults with Kali and reveals her upper caste prejudice and double standards. All this is done through her abusive statements to Kali. The story begins with Parvati receiving a phone call from her youngest brother-in-law in Birta mode, informing her of the death of her mother-in-law. Parvati smiles and she remarks that the demon had died. But when Sarita, her sister-in-law, called her, she asked Kali to take the call. She also told Kali to inform Sarita that she was crying so badly that she couldn't speak on the phone. Kali speaks to Sarita and Sarita also ridicules Kali. Parvati is informed that Sarita will be coming in a van and picking her up for the journey to Birta mode. She will have to pay 2000 rupees for the journey. Parvati and Kali make preparations for the journey to Birta mode. Kali has a tiny narrow bed under the staircase. She packs the few new clothes she has and both of them clean and lock up the house. Parvati keeps complaining about her husband's family and their attempts to get money from her. She also keeps saying rude and hurtful things to Kali. Parvati's hurtful statements to Kali are interspersed with words by a young man. This young man has communicated with Kali through letters. These words appear in italics in the text, and they are warm, appreciative, and very positive. The words keep playing in Kali's head, even as she listens to Parvati's rude rebukes. The young man in the letter has promised Kali that he will take care of her schooling and her cleft palate. She just has to reach Birta mode, which is close to the Indian border, and then his relative will take Kali to India. He had also given her some money. He had made her believe that she has a pretty face, expressive eyes, actress's eyes, and a good voice. The cleft was the only problem, and that too could be corrected. Parvati and Kali wait for the vehicle to arrive. Sarita looks sad. Parvati consoles her, and Sarita says to her that she felt guilty that Parvati had cried for her dead mother-in-law, despite being subjected to ill treatment by the latter. Sarita calls Parvati Bhauju. Sarita says that she did not miss her dead mother, and it was Parvati's response that had made her feel guilty. Parvati puts on the act of being unaffected by her mother-in-law's past behavior. Sarita is accompanied on the journey by her son Sunny and her Australian paying guest Erin. Sarita used to call her mother Amma, and she says that Erin has now become her mother. Erin is actually Sarita's Australian paying guest. She had wanted to see a Nepali funeral, and her new daughter Sarita was taking her along to Birta mode. Sarita's duplicity and selfishness are evident when Sarita expresses her hope that Erin would one day sponsor a trip for Sarita and her family to Australia. Sarita is very caring about Erin and proudly tells Parvati that Erin had chanted the Hanuman prayers or Hanuman Chalisa at the famous Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu. This was when the priests had refused her permission to enter the temple, but her knowledge of the mantras had impressed the priests. Sarita says that Parvati is lucky because Dai, her brother and Parvati's husband, had died. Before dying, he had left a house for Parvati. And because she was childless, so there were no future money worries also. Parvati makes fun of Sarita because she has adopted a foreigner as her mother in the hope that she will be able to go to Australia someday. Parajuly reveals the scheming, hypocritical behavior of Parvati and Sarita through their conversation. Both women speak in Nepali with each other and Sarita communicates in English with Erin. Parvati is not fluent in English and she wonders if she is supposed to speak to Erin in her broken tutti-frutti English. The journey is long and the weather is cold. Sarita is very irritated with Kali when she says that she has to have a bathroom break. But the van is stopped and all of them get out to relieve themselves. Parvati and Sunny, Sarita's 13-year-old son, get into an argument about keeping the van window open. Parvati is angry with her bhanja or her nephew Sunny because he keeps his window open and the cold Himalayan air bothers her. She asks Sarita whether she disciplines her son and gives her a lecture on strict Nepali style parenting. Sarita says that she is trying out Erin's advice of letting her son do whatever he wants to do. Parvati tells her not to follow the Gori or the white woman's advice. Sarita says that she supports Erin's parenting style. She recounts her own mother's harsh and heavy-handed behavior. Sarita had wanted to become a fashion designer and design clothes for actresses. When she tried stitching paper clothes when she was very young, her mother had insulted her, telling her that she did not want her daughter to become a low-caste darji or a tailor. Her mother had rebuked her and had asked Dai, Sarita's brother, to beat her with nettle leaves. Nettle leaves cause inflammation, and on that particular day, Sarita had been beaten black and blue by her brother Dai. And later on in the story, Sarita reveals that this had broken down the relation between the brother and sister. Sarita had been 18 years old at that time and she remembered the incident with pain and embarrassment. Both Parvati and Sarita also confess that they had not been close to Dai. Kali is very comfortably settled on top of the luggage and Sarita's talk of designing clothes reminds Kali of the words from the letter. The man had told her that it was he who had encouraged Manisha Koirala to go to Bollywood. He had said to her that she would get nice clothes when she became an actress. But Kali must not wear revealing clothes because he did not like them. Kali is lost in her dreams and the conversation between Parvati and Sarita goes on. Sarita says that she has started going to college on Erin's advice. Her husband doesn't like it, but he doesn't say anything in Erin's presence. He is a typical male chauvinist, but he does not say anything in front of Erin because Erin paid well and she was a good paying guest. Night arrives and the van narrowly escapes an accident with a truck. Everyone wakes up except Kali. Erin does a quick head count. The driver is shaken after the narrow escape from death, and then they decide to stop for dinner. Parvati is hungry, but she must abide by the custom of fasting in honor of her dead mother-in-law, and that too for 13 days. Sarita tells her to eat, but finally both women decide that their age-old beliefs are stronger than their hunger. Kali, Erin, Sunny and the driver went to a roadside restaurant to have dinner, and Parvati and Sarita went shopping for milk and bananas. They polished off 6 bananas each, and Parvati ate the one she had thought of giving Kali in the morning. Then she started feeling guilty because she had broken the custom of fasting and she hoped that Sarita also would feel guilty. Dinesh, the driver, returns after having dinner and he says that they had had chicken, fish and mutton. Parvati's guilt makes her even more rude and offensive to Kali. She asks Kali if she had eaten like a pig. Meanwhile, Dinesh is awestruck by Erin's appetite for Nepali food. Kali is busy thinking about the words from the letter, where the young man had talked about his miserable life at his workplace. He had written that his mistress used to give him a little bit of gravy and a tiny piece of chicken. He would lick the plate dry, and he had told Kali that when she became an actress, she would have lots to eat. But she must not eat too much because people do not like fat actresses. Parvati and Sarita continue talking about the home science course that Sarita is taking and about cooking Nepali food for Erin. Parvati tells Sarita that Kali wants to study, and Sarita tells her that she must send Kali to school. Parvati says that Kali, with her face, will not be able to get much even with an education. Moreover, she is very lonely and she wants Kali with her throughout the day. Sarita points out that Parvati is attached to Kali. Parvati says that because she is a childless widow and because she has nothing to look forward to, she wants Kali as a companion. She also says that Kali is just a servant for her. Sarita tells her that she envies Parvati her complete freedom from all familial ties and obligations. She does not have to seek permission from her husband or mother-in-law. She doesn't have to bother about children, their schooling, their vacation or examinations. Sarita advises Parvati to go on pilgrimages to Bodh Gaya, Tirupati and Banaras. After all, she has got Dai's pension. But Parvati is determined to be pessimistic, and she says that she is still a Nepali widow and she has to face the rude remarks and social stigma of being a childless widow. She says to Sarita that when they reached Bertamod, she would not be allowed to take part in the rituals and that she is jealous of the thick sindoor on Sarita's forehead and the Mangal Sutra on her neck. She says that she has stopped celebrating Nepali festivals also. Dinesh stops the vehicle for a smoke. Sarita asks Parvati if she has ever smoked in her life. Parvati says that she had tried khaini or tobacco once. It had set her mouth on fire and she had never tried it again. Sarita says that she smoked once a day outside the house and it calmed her down. Parvati is glad that it is not because of Erin that Sarita smokes. Sarita tells Parvati that Erin never judges her. They begin the journey once again. But near the Koshi barrage, one of the tires of the van develops a puncture. Parvati comments that whenever they have travelled on this route, they have developed a flat tire. Sarita says that they are lucky that the Maoists don't harm tourists. Erin, a foreigner travelling with them, also ensures their safety, says Sarita. Sarita here refers to the Nepali civil war or the Maoist conflict in Nepal between the elected government and the Communist Party of Nepal, the CPN Maoist. This conflict began sometime in 1996 and continued till 2006. The Maoists had wanted to overthrow the Nepali king and establish a democracy. It was a period marked by extensive violence, kidnapping, executions, and extortion or forcefully demanding money from people. On hearing the conversation about Maoists between Sarita and Parvati, Kali recalls words from the letter. The young man had told her that even if she escaped from the clutches of her mistress, there was no future for her in Nepal. He had advised her that it would be better for her to leave Nepal, or she would end up joining the Maoists and shooting down people. He had told her that rich people went to America and England. Poor people like her must go to Bombay and become Bollywood stars. All of them get out of the van so that the tire can be replaced. Parvati displays a rare moment of kindness when she asks the sleepy Kali to come and stand near her. She also asks her to eat some chivda or beaten rice. They wait for Dinesh to replace the tire. Meanwhile, Sarita and Erin walk into the forest to have a smoke. They return and the van is ready for the journey. Dinesh says that he is feeling very tired and sleepy, and so Sarita asks Erin to hand over her small disc player so that he can listen to the music and drive safely. Everyone falls asleep except Parvati and Sarita. And then Sarita drops a bombshell. She tells her sister-in-law that she is planning to divorce her husband. Parvati had assumed that Sarita would talk about her financial problem or domestic issues. She was shocked by Sarita's statement, and she warns her that it is a wrong decision. Sarita tells her that she can confide about this to Parvati because the only bond between them had been Dai, Parvati's husband, and Sarita's brother. He had died, and so the link between them had weakened. Parvati agrees that they had never been close and that she can judge Sarita and that the relation between them had always been weak. She had visited Sarita's dera or house in Teenkunne very rarely. She recalls that she didn't even know Sarita's phone number. Parvati realized that Sarita's decision to get a divorce was shocking for her because it had come only a few hours after the news of the death of Sarita's mother. But Sarita would probably have gone for a divorce even otherwise. Sarita says that it was Erin who had encouraged her to take up sewing again along with pursuing courses at the college. Erin had told her to dream, to fulfill her desires and realize her potential. Sarita had been inspired by Erin, and now she was happy. Parvati discourages Sarita from ending her 14-year-old marriage. She tells Sarita that life after divorce is difficult and painful. She recounts her experience of extreme loneliness. Parvati addresses Sarita's husband as Joy, or son-in-law of the family. She says that Sarita is lucky to have someone like Joy for a husband. He doesn't drink, flirt, or restrict Sarita in any way, and she berates Erin for trying to destroy Sarita's marriage. Parvati tells Sarita that if she had a chance to bring back her dead husband, she would definitely do it. 5 years of loneliness had changed her, had made her miserable. She tells Sarita that even if they fought all the time, she would want her husband back by her side. Sarita tells her that she has plans to go to Australia. Parvati tells her that she must convince her husband and Sunny to go with her to the land of opportunity. And if Erin was as wonderful as Sarita claimed, then she would definitely encourage her to do so. Morning had arrived. The long journey was gradually coming to an end. Sunny woke up and he opened the window. Kali hit her head on the roof when the vehicle turned, and Erin asked for her disc player. She started taking pictures, and Dinesh, the driver, did not attempt to overtake big vehicles. They were nearing their destination and they could hear the blowing of conches. Sarita remarks that they must have offered a calf to the priest as part of the funeral rituals, or kam. Parvati remarks that Kali is a bad name, and from now on, Kali must tell everybody that her name is Rekha. Rekha like the beautiful Bollywood actress. Kali looks surprised and dazed. Sarita tells Parvati that after the 13-day calm ceremony in Berta mode, they must go to Siliguri in Assam. Kali immediately recalls the words from the letter. The man had told her that she would have to spend some time in Siliguri before being taken to Bombay. The letter writer's cousin would come and pick her from Berta mode. He had told her that his cousin was a short-tempered man and that he had nothing to gain from Kali. But Kali would have to do exactly as he said, even if she felt that he was making her do something wrong. He had told her, "You have to understand that everything he makes you do, even if you have been taught that it is wrong, is a stepping stone to your becoming a big star." Poor Kali. She had not realized that she was being lured into joining a child prostitution and human trafficking network. Her vulnerability, her lack of awareness, and her lack of proper support made her an ideal candidate for being trapped in a prostitution network. Kali had dreams of making it big in Bollywood. The young man, the letter writer, had encouraged her. But she would probably end up in some brothel in Bombay or Nepal or somewhere else if she decided to escape from Parvati's home. The story concludes with their arrival at the house in Berta mode. Parvati tells Sarita that cleft palate surgery is cheaper in India than in Kathmandu. Kali stands looking at the road, and Parvati tells her that is the road to her family's house in India. Kali is lost and she thinks of the road to India. But then she hands over the 400 rupees to Parvati for safekeeping. And on Parvati's inquiry about the money, she replies that she had got it for singing during the Nepali festival of Tihar. The story concludes with Parvati's words, "Time and place for everything, girl. Time and place for everything." Thank you.